Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Marcus and I'm back with another video. Yes, I know I've been slacking the past couple weeks. I was on vacation. Work was extremely hectic when I came back, playing a lot of catch up. And finally I launched the sports mentoring program at Mount St. Joe. So I'm just going through a lot of transitions in my life. But overall, I'm extremely blessed and honored to still be here today. This video is something that I've wanted to put out for quite some time now. The reason why I didn't put this out in the past is fear of judgment. What I'm going to be discussing is a very sensitive topic that a lot of people don't quite understand yet. So I'm here to eliminate the stigma as well as educate people on mental health issues. Around this time last year, I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. For those of you who don't know, borderline personality disorder affects 3 million people per year. It is very common, but it's also a very severe mental illness. People will always have borderline personality disorder, but throughout time, they learn how to manage and cope with these issues in a healthy manner. So what is an emotional dysregulation disorder? Well, just think of all the emotions that you experience. The main ones are probably happiness, anger, and sadness. So just think of those, but amplified times 10. That's kind of what BPD is. So with me having an emotional dysregulation disorder, it would affect people closest to me, especially in my relationships. I said I was diagnosed this time last year, but I was also going through my first real heartbreak. And that really crushed me because through that relationship, the BPD kind of came out. This person would unknowingly trigger me. We both didn't really know what we were doing to one another because we weren't really aware of what I was going through. So often I would make a lot of our arguments or whatever we were going through just so much worse because I just couldn't control my emotions, Instead of maybe sitting back, waiting a couple hours to cool off, definitely would have been the best situation for me instead of lashing out right away. Because of my emotions getting the best of me, I partially ruined a unique bond with someone that I had. But I know that I wasn't in control over my emotions. I wasn't aware that I had, BPD. But when I was going through, recovering from BPD, going through the breakup, I was in such a dark place. I wouldn't leave this room. I would sit in darkness a lot. I isolated myself. I found myself just randomly crying. I was just really experiencing a lot of suicidal ideation. I was on medication at the time. Many times I thought about overdosing. I would lay and pray to God that, He would take my life while I was, sleeping. But little did I know I was experiencing a miracle through me finding that I had BPD in through that hardship, I really found my purpose in life. And that's helping people like me, because recovering through borderline personality, when all these things were surfacing, no one understood or was really empathetic for me. And that's really okay, because like I said, people don't really understand it. So for example, when I got on medication, people were like, oh, it's about time you got on medication. I had family members tell me I'm not depressed. Things like that. Just people who, are extremely insensitive and empathetic to people with mental illnesses, because did I ask for a mental illness? No, not at all. There's actually 3 factors that play into borderline personality disorder. One is neurological reasons. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I'm cross dominant. It's actually different from ambidextry, but it's kind of the same. So for example, I basically, depending upon what the task is, I'll use either one of my hands. So in basketball, I dribble with my left hand. I can't really dribble with my right, but I shoot with my right hand. In football, when I played quarterback, I threw with my right, and when I was a punter, I would, kick with my left. My left side of my body was always stronger than my right. So my brain never developed dominance whatsoever. So it was kind of going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I was more prone to mental illnesses. I was more prone to learning disabilities. Another factor that plays a role into BPD is environmental factors. And with environmental factors, I experienced a lot of emotional trauma, psychological trauma. I just experienced just so much trauma that I became a product of my environment in a sense. So when I was finding out about BPD, I was going through my first breakup and finding out that my environment had to do with my diagnosis. It just put me in such a dark space. And like I said, people were telling me it's about time you got on medication. You're not depressed. I had some of my closest friends telling me they didn't believe it. And during that time, it seemed like I was still, reaching out to people and checking out how they were doing, but really, I was the one that kind of needed those things. Like I said, me having borderline personality disorder, I have no control over it, but I can make a difference. And like I said, I found purpose in going through what I experienced. All the darkness I experienced last year made me find my purpose. God was really working with me this entire time, and I just wasn't really aware. I became spiritually enlightened. I was in such a dark spot that I had no other resort but to go and resort to faith, to God. And like I said, I was just experiencing a miracle, finding my true self and what my purpose is in life. And it's helping people who've gone through what I've gone through, mental illnesses, physical, limitations, injuries, being an athlete. So that's why I launched Alston for Athletes. That is my purpose and my calling to life, is to help mentor student athletes going through physical, mental, and emotional illnesses, because I don't want people to feel like I felt. Going through BPD was a traumatic experience, and I didn't feel like I had the necessary support that I really needed. I still haven't met people who have BPD. I haven't been able to connect with a lot of people who have mental illnesses. So I'm essentially hoping that, me putting out this video will help people understand. We can end the stigma behind mental illness, and we can essentially educate one another on these issues, because this stuff is real. Like I said, I was so close to ending my life this time last year, and now I'm on the National Alliance of Mental Illness in Howard County in Baltimore. I'm going to be in a position to be on the public policy committee where I can go and meet state legislators and advocate for mental health. So that's what I'm going to do, is advocate, do my best to bring awareness to end the stigma behind mental illness. So if you guys are struggling with mental illness, reach out to me, because like I said, with BPD, I've felt every single emotion. I've felt it. So if you're going through it right now, please reach out to me and we can connect. And, if you want to help your communities and advocate for mental health, please let me know and I can help you get started in the right way. But just know that I'm not going to be able to bring better mental health in today's society without people like you. So let me know what you guys think of this video. Please comment, like, subscribe, and yeah, guys, let's really make a difference.